Listen, one thing I can say about Mr. Holmes, man, is he stays committed. The Detroit Lions have signed a defensive end, one that is already on our team. You get tired of tripping after a while, and I'm not bothered by this move, although I kind of should be. It is a defensive end, so I guess it's a defensive end who contributed more than Marcus Davenport, so I guess I really can't complain. This is coming from the Detroit Lions Twitter account, literally right after I was finished recording the last video. Says Lions have re-signed defensive lineman Pat O'Connor, and I'll never forget when Pat O'Connor came out of the tunnel, man. He had never came out of the tunnel, never came out during when I think it was the Bills game. I think it was. He ran out like RoboCop. Imagine RoboCop running. He was so nervous that it was no hype. It was just robotic run out. And he had said that he had never done that. Now, I should be popping a gasket. I really should. I don't have a problem with players who have contributed to the success of the team more than others. I would get behind a Pat O'Connor signing over a Marcus Davenport. For me, Marcus Davenport has not done anything for me to get behind what he could do. This guy hasn't played a healthy season in years. Pat O'Connor, on the other hand, made more of a contribution in his brief time with the Detroit Lions than Marcus Davenport has. Now, I'm not saying that this guy is moving the needle. So that's where I don't want any confusion. Trust me, on the inside, I am still screaming for that guy, still wanting the Zadarius Smith move to make sense to me. But I understand that you have to build depth. I get that. The Detroit Lions, that's all they've done. My concern is when the first thing you do is bring back Marcus Davenport, that makes me pause. That gives me cause for concern. That tells me that the Detroit Lions are probably going to invest all their eggs into the draft and making the D-line pushing the needle during, that time. I'm not bothered by this. Okay, Mitchell Agude. What's the difference between Pat O'Connor, Mitchell Agude, Marcus Davenport? Marcus is self-explanatory. You guys know I popped off in 2024. Mitchell Agude was a practice squad dude. Pat O'Connor actually contributed to the team. He was part of the depth and attrition that Brad Holmes talked about. And he was a valuable piece. Not a needle mover, not a game changer, the epitome of grit. He is this year's version of John Kaminsky, who, by the way, has not been resigned. I would not mind seeing John Kaminsky over Emmanuel Mosley. Like, I understand that we need players beyond the 11 that starts. I get that. I'm just waiting on that. We still don't have the opposite to Aiden. Once that happens, I will calm down. I will go from 10 to maybe 5.5. That's all I'm saying. But as far as O'Connor, not mad at this at all. So let's take a look at his stats for not only his career, but the 2024 NFL season. Love seeing stuff like this, man. 31 years old. So he'll turn 32 during the season. 6'4", 300 pounds, 7th round draft pick by the Detroit Lions in 2017. It's very rare that you see a 7th round draft pick making any kind of impact on a team. Had 5 solo tackles, 1 sack for 2024. We look at his stats. Actually was drafted by the Detroit Lions, but didn't play for the Detroit Lions in a game until 2024. Played 12 games. So right now, he's played more than Marcus Davenport has in 2 years and 1. Had 18 total tackles, 5 solo. We went over that already. Spent his first 5 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, playing a reasonable amount to the season. So again, not going to complain about this because contrary to what you guys may believe about me, I know that we need depth. I know that the team is deeper than the 11 on offense and the 11 on defense that start. I understand that. That's why it's a 53-man roster. That's why you go 16 plus, plus 16 on the practice squad. I understand that. I am just waiting on that needle mover guy. Pat is not him. But what he is a Dan Campbell type guy, epitome of grit, all of that stuff. And believe it or not, y'all, like, I want that on the team. When I talk about grit warriors that the Detroit Lions have been built on grit. Their entire, not a lot of needle movers on the team. I call us the mystery man because we're a bunch of throwaway scraps. I mean, from Khalif Raymond to Marcus Davenport to, I mean, the list goes on and on. And Jamal Williams back in the day, Josh Reynolds, those guys were built on. Remember Dan Campbell had like a teary moment in 2020. I forgot what interview. He was being interviewed by someone, and the interviewer brought up that 2021 season, and Dan got teary-eyed. And he was like, those guys, I will be forever grateful for what they had to endure. I understand that, and I just don't know if all grit, see what I did there? Wow. If all grit will be enough to win us the Super Bowl. Pat O'Connor is grit. What he's not is a needle mover, and that's what I'm waiting on. But again, I don't really like pointing out what people aren't. The only reason I brought it up is because I don't want you guys thinking that I'm wavering. I feel the same. The reaction might be a little different based on who it is and when we sign them. This is another depth piece. I'm over depth pieces, but I understand that they need to happen. And if you're going to sign a depth piece, then sign a depth piece. Mohammed, we're waiting on him to be, he's been re-signed to a future reserve deal, so I fully expect him to be on this team. But if you committed and you invested in this team and you actually played a part, then I'm not mad at that, because like I said, I understand that the roster, I mean, you got 22 in total, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. There are 33 people on the sideline that can come in and out the game, and another 16 on the practice squad. So I am aware. I like the move. Pat O'Connor, decent depth piece, not tripping on that. Already part on the team. Still waiting on Za'Darius to make sense. Still waiting on that needle mover. We probably won't get my answer into the NFL draft. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. So kind of some updates that I want to run past you guys. 2025 is the year of the business. This is when I get LLC'd. This is when we start to make moves toward the longevity of the brand. And I realize that I am a dude talking about the Detroit Lions. I am not the Detroit Lions, right? Why would you choose to wear anything that represents me and this brand when you could wear something that represents this brand, right? So with that being the case, I am starting in the works, the beginning stages of starting a store that some products will be available. The shirt that I've been wearing, that will be available, hoodie, stuff like that. I'm also working on an after dark design as well. I'm also thinking about the ladies too. And I don't want to sound any type of way, but you know, if the ladies like pink, you know, then we could maybe we can do like a breast cancer awareness thing for October, where we do our own version of that we only sell in October. I mean, I got a lot of different things that, you know, I have wonderful people that are helping me and investing in the brand because they believe in what the syndicate is doing. So if there's anything you would like to see, I think somebody said a koozie, the can holder thing would be a product too. So I'm working on quality of the product, what's a good price point, things like that. And the hope is to launch by the beginning of before the season for the Detroit Lions. So I got about 6 months to get that done, and that is the plan. But you'll start to see. So if there's any products that you guys would be like, you know what, I would rock that from, I mean, a magnet, a sticker, whatever it is, let me know. Shot glasses, regular glasses, mugs, whatever the situation. Any designs that you would like to see? Because I'm thinking about one with the shield, one with the lion, and like I said, some after dark stuff as well. And yes, it will have purple on it. All right, so get over it. Real men wear purple. All right. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.